on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Agent Authority Podcast. Here we talk about real estate, specifically marketing and branding. I'm here with my co-host, Ryan. Say what's up.
I just muted the mic as soon as you said that. I was like,
literally,
oh, well.
Yeah. So
I was like, I don't want to be breathing and being that background noise.
Yeah, and we're here today with our guest, Brandon Poole. And just so you guys know, you could say goodbye to cold calling, door knocking, and drip campaigns. Brandon and his partner, Chris Harden, have helped thousands of realtors scale their businesses by teaching them how to leverage Facebook Messenger marketing to start conversations and prospects and meet prospects wherever they are 24/7. So welcome, Brandon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No doubt, no doubt. So first things first, really just wanted to dive in and let everybody know where you're from, how you got into the business, and really is what you do to help agents, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got into the real estate business at the beginning of last year. I'm currently actually a college student, and I was looking for some opportunities. And I had met my partner, Chris Harden, my freshman year of college. At the time, I was doing some motivational speaking, things like that. And through a mutual friend, I was introduced to Chris because at the time he was building websites for real estate agents and just really any industry you could think of. And so I reached out to him beginning of last year just to see if he had any opportunities for me, and he said absolutely. And I also had another internship lined up at the time, and due to COVID, it was canceled. And so Chris told me, he said, don't listen to that bullshit because you should be able to work wherever you can.
Facts. Wait, real quick. So you did motivational speaking. Let's dive into that for a second.
Yeah. So I'm currently 22 years old. And when I was about, 14, 15, I was going through a rough time in my life. And so I decided to, better myself. So I was reading tons of books, listening to podcasts and motivational speeches all the time. A few big ones I listened to were Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, of course. And so through that, I got involved in Toastmasters. And I remember at the time, my brother was also involved, and he's a couple years older than me. And when I went to a meeting with him, there was a kid there that was a little bit older than me. And I remember my brother leaning over to me and saying, hey, that kid's gonna be so much further ahead than everybody else. And so that just kind of stuck with me. And that's why I got involved in Toastmasters, to develop my communication skills and just really become a more confident person in general.
That's incredible, man. Props to that. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. He's all about mindset, and I'm obsessed with that stuff. So,
oh yeah.
Let's finish your background. So you were literally in college, and your boys just like, yo, I got a job for you.
Basically.
So did you know anything about this industry before you got into it?
Not a whole lot. I'd read some books here and there. Real estate had always been something I wanted to get into, mainly because I feel like it's the greatest opportunity to create passive income for yourself and become financially free. So that was one of the main things that, drew me to it. And so, yeah.
That's sick. Sick.
My partner, Chris, he's the genius behind the scenes. He got involved about 5 years ago. And like I said, he's building websites. He was a top WordPress trainer for a number of years. And through working with different agents create their websites, they eventually asked him if he knew anything about lead generation. And he said, no, but I can find out. So that's kind of when the gear started turning for him. And then he learned about, ManyChat and being able to automate those chat flows there. And that's kind of, the sequence of events that happened to get involved.
All right. Well, I'm super excited for this episode for a few reasons. One, I myself am a realtor. Ryan's a marketer, but I do marketing and branding as well. And one thing that I've struggled with is generating leads through ManyChat. I'll be 100% honest. Yeah, I could generate leads any way, and I usually automate it through text and email. But for some reason, I never got the hang of getting actual conversations to be started through ManyChat. But it could just be my market. I do know a lot of markets are different, but obviously you guys have a skill set that we would be really intrigued to learn more about. So first things first is how you guys came up with the fact of using ManyChat versus automating it in text and emails into like a CRM and that method. How you actually generate leads for your clients, and how you how you're able to qualify them, because obviously that's what the automation should be for, right? And booking
Right.
appointments and making sure who's a lead and who's like junk in a sense.
Mhm. So Chris got involved with ManyChat mainly because it was the biggest and the baddest at the time, and still is really. You can go to their website and learn everything you need to know to do it on your own. They offer like a 13-hour course. So we always tell people you can sit through that course if you want to, or you can outsource to us and let us take care of all the technical work for you. And so that's kind of why he chose ManyChat. But really, he got into the idea of automation because one day he was ordering a pizza through Domino's, and he was able to do that through Facebook Messenger at the time.
Wow.
And so that's what kind of sparked that inspiration for him.
Got it. So the other thing is so we're big on video content, right? And the main reason is obviously for the retargeting. When it comes to the messenger campaigns, how do they differentiate between like a video campaign or a lead generation campaign in the sense of actually capturing a legitimate lead in that sense? Do you guys see less leads at a higher conversion rate and stuff like that?
Yeah. So most of the time we can provide our clients with roughly 5 to 10 conversations per day, and with that the cost per lead is much cheaper, mainly because no one is using Messenger. Some areas it could be more expensive cost per lead wise, maybe because other people are using Messenger, but most of the time there's only a handful of people using that. Most agents are trying to push their leads to a landing page where they're forced to fill out a form and give up all their information and even their social security sometimes. So what we do is we try to remove a lot of that friction and just get right into the conversation. Another thing that we like to tell our clients is that leads are useless, but conversations are priceless.
That's a good line. I'll be honest, I'm a big landing page guy. Like I'm a huge fan of it because there's so many ways to actually get someone to sign up if your ad's actually compelling enough and if the landing page looks legit enough to the point where you don't think that it's just like some scam or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, so I've had tremendous success with the landing page as well as just using the Facebook lead form and then capturing them and putting them straight into my CRM. But so when you guys run the automation, are you guys just generating like a, hey, I'm interested in buying or selling, and then they go through a process where they could click a pre-written button in a sense? Or are you guys waiting for them to respond and stuff like that?
In a sense. So once the lead, well, first of all, we start with a listing. That's kind of what we're using as bait to start that conversation. Whether or not they're a buyer or a seller, because ultimately there's something about that home that interested in them. So once they're in the chat and they opt in and click get started, it's open reigns. You can communicate with them as much as you want, but as soon as they opt in, they're going to get that listing information, and whether or not it's on the market, it's going to ask them if they think it's their future home. And it's going to say like yes, no, or maybe. And depending on that answer, it's going to gather more contact information from them and ultimately see what their criteria is and what type of home they are looking for.
Got it. So you guys are going straight to it where they click it and then boom, you're just sending them straight to the listing information without asking for anything in return up front other than do you like the house?
Right.
So that's actually really smart because most people, like when I was trying ManyChat, I'll be honest, like when I tried it a year ago and then I tinkered with it a few months ago. The first question was, thanks for signing up for a free list of homes. How many bedrooms are you looking for? So I was asking a question right off the bat, as opposed to actually giving either the free list of homes or the ad or the listing ad, or whatever it is they signed up for. If it was a buyer's guide, seller's guide, something like that. So I actually really like that. That's a cool little neat trick you guys did there.
Yeah. Especially in today's market, buyers are a dime a dozen, but everyone's looking for those seller leads. And, sometimes
Facts.
an agent may not have a house that's on the market, but, it might be closing. So, we can still use that listing. And once they, opt in and they're getting that listing information, it'll say something like, hey, this home is under contract, but can I help you find your dream home? Or, what type of home are you looking for? And ultimately, gather more information on what it is they are looking for.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And then the other thing you touched on was seller leads. And I'll be honest, I love generating seller leads, but I tell people that you have to if you're running a legitimate seller campaign where you're not running a listing or anything like that, and you're running a just sold ad or video content basically saying, hey, if you're thinking about selling, we do free CMA. Like I know people don't do the free CMA thing anymore, or the home evaluation as people call it. I've had tremendous success with that ad. But when you're running that as an ad, the cost per lead for a seller is anywhere from 20 to $60 depending on your market. Obviously in the current market, it's gone up, but pre-COVID, I was generating seller leads at like $7 a pop. And it just COVID really was the big hindrance, just because the real estate market kind of slowed down in the sense of selling, not in the sense of buying. So we've seen that probably all across the country, and probably so of your clients, which is why the buyer ads are so powerful right now. But everyone's generating so many leads, and there's so many people actually looking for a home, that it's hard to actually get your clients to find the right house. So I actually really like your strategy in the sense of generating conversations so that they're talking to the agent right away, or in the sense they're automated until the agent's able to jump in. So if they're on an appointment or anything like that, they're not necessarily not touching that lead to the point where they forget about it, or that lead loses interest. So that's a really smart concept. I like that.
I'm a little curious, Martin. You said that you were getting the home evaluation campaigns, and those leads were like $20 to $60.
Yeah,
like
currently,
because
it's kind of like, it's like you're paying the same amount as like if you were to run Google PPC ads.
Right. Because I remember just a couple of months ago, I was doing the same thing, but we were getting them for like $12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
so that's the thing is, so I realized like I run my seller, like if I'm running the home evaluation campaign, I usually spend $25 a day. And I realized back in January, if I upped my budget to 100, my cost per lead went from like 60 to $20. More money spent during a day, the lower cost per lead, because you're just generating more leads, getting in touch with more people up front, because you're opening the window to basically saying, hey, from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. spend all this money, and it means it's running at every constant time on the platform, versus if you're just having a $10 a day budget, it's showing it to like 50 people every hour. So you're not touching as many people who are actually on the platform who would see that ad. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, well, let's up the budget on a daily basis, and just shrink the monthly campaign. So instead of $25 for a week, I did $100 for 3-4 days, and I saw a tremendous lowering of the price. But still, I tell agents in this market, if you're not picking up the phone to generate seller leads, you are missing out. And I know you're against cold calling, but I built my business on cold calling and then incorporated advertising to it. And I don't think people give cold calling enough credit where it's due, where you build that communication skill, right? I'm sure you know that it probably helps with your sales calls and all that stuff. Just being able to communicate with someone voice to voice. And then you see this incredible thing that we're doing right now, podcasting. Like everyone's listening to audio these days. And there are times where you have your YouTube open, right? And you're watching a video, but you look away and you're just listening to it. So a lot of people are starting to realize that talking to someone is better than texting them, or in a sense emailing or anything like that. Because if you're talking to someone on the phone, you can hear what they're trying to say, like in their inflections and how everything comes across. But for me, like in this market, just generating seller leads is so simple. You pick a house that's sold for 20-30,000 over asking, and you just say, hey, did you hear about that house? Is there anything I could do for you? And you end up just building a rapport with a homeowner in your market. So I honestly think that that's the best way to actually generate seller leads. I tell people, if you're running ads online, generate buyer leads. You will get a couple people who are going to sell and buy, and you'll be able to get referrals just from those leads alone. But for seller leads, cold calling, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And, talking about cold calling and just being afraid of the phone in general, that's one thing that a lot of agents struggle with is the follow-up. And, that's where the gold is. And so ultimately that's where we want them to go, right? Is the phone. But that messaging, initially that really, lessens the barriers of communication, because most people were like, who is this guy? And ultimately, if you're able to warm them up and chat them up, then that phone call makes it easy.
Got it. So you guys are a full-fledged agency, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So after a lead comes in, conversation started, books a call with the agent contacts them. Are they transferred? Do you guys give the agents a CRM? Do you give them a follow-up system of any kind? Or is it we're strictly just, hey, we're going to book your calls through Messenger?
Yeah, so we don't really offer them a CRM. For starter agents, the Business Suite app, that's a great like starting place for a CRM if you don't really have a database behind you. But again, it's not nearly as complex or what you'll need when you become an agent of scale. But you can do a lot with that initially. But the true power of the messenger side is that we can ultimately use a tool called Zapier to integrate with their CRM. And that's where, once the lead gives up their contact information, it automatically plugs it into their database.
Got
And from
it.
there,
So you guys are strictly, hey, we're going to generate you conversations through Messenger, and the clients are going to go through the funnel and book a call.
correct.
Got it. So are they texted all this information as like, let's just say I don't see that I got a lead and like I'm busy, I'm on an appointment, and they go through the whole sequence,
Mhm.
right? After they go through the sequence, if they didn't book a call, does the agent get notification of any kind from you guys? How does that work?
So they're going to get notified through their Facebook Messenger app or the Business Suite app when that lead goes through. And, if they don't fill out that whole form completely, then that'll be where the agent would step in and what we call humanize the conversation and ultimately follow up in that sense.
Got it. So I'm sure you guys have stats. You've worked with over thousands of agents. What would you say is the conversion rate for a lot of these conversations that are started?
Yeah. So, I think industry standard is somewhere around like 5 to 7%.
Yeah.
But with our clients that are, hustlers and really get after it, they're looking at, around 20%.
Got it. So it really comes down to you guys are basically saying, hey, we'll get the conversation started, then you got to take it from there.
Correct.
Got it. I'm in awe of this concept because like I know it works. I just haven't figured out the right way to do it. But again, you're talking to someone who loves picking up the phone. So
So
Nothing wrong with that.
I got a question in this. What about call extensions? Have you implemented that into any of the advertising?
So what do you mean by that exactly?
So like you can do the typical route and do messenger and everything, because the one thing that we found to be really, really effective when I was running all these campaigns was in the retargeting. It's just a video of the realtor. We made them record this saying, hey, I know life is busy. You may have missed my call and I may have missed yours. So go ahead, click the button below, call me. And then they would just call the agent.
yeah,
And
well
that
now,
like worked really well.
because now you can literally just add your phone number to the ad. You don't have
Right.
to ask for anything information in that.
Right. So one thing that we like to do is within that chat, let's say that the lead, goes halfway through the sequence and they just kind of fall off the conversation. We can automate, a follow-up message that shows up, X amount of time later. And it could be the agent's face and it's a video and it's just them dropping in and saying like, hey, you know, just missed each other, something like that. Or, hey, just want to put a face with a name, let you know I'm a real person over here on this end, and I want to be a resource to you and help you find your dream home. And then under that, it can have several options. If text me, call me, something like that. And ultimately, we find that that's one of the best ways to re-engage those leads that fall off.
That's smart. That's smart. I actually, yeah. So you guys are doing all of the follow up, even the retargeting through Messenger. So, um, so from our perspective, right? So we're going to talk video content for a second. So the reason we love video is when we run ads, we're able to retarget based off of watch time, right? So you guys are mainly running ads as like either a listing video or are you running video ads of agents like because what we preach and what I preach in our course, the Agent Authority Accelerator, is generating brand, which leads to people calling the agent themselves over a 12-month, 18-month period. And the process really goes through with 5 videos. And I talk about these videos to any agent I talk to. The first video is an intro, who you are, what you do, how you help. Second video, buyer tips, how to purchase a home. Third video, a market update. Fourth video, a property tour, right? Actually walking them through the property where you're in the video and a camera's following you around, explaining everything about the house. That really shows off your personality, how you hold yourself, how you showcase a property, which will then show someone in your market, hey, he did a really good job showcasing this house, let him do it for mine. And then the fifth video we do is a seller video, just talking about 5, 6, 7 tips how to get your home prepared for selling, and why you should work with an agent versus try selling it on your own. Obviously, in this market, that's really not that hard. So for all you guys thinking about selling your home, definitely do it on your own. And this is coming from a realtor. So we basically run those 5 videos. The clients that I've had, we've run those 5 videos for the agents who actually create the videos, because not everyone likes getting behind the camera because of fear of judgment. But so the agents that do that is they run it to their market, 15, 20-mile radius or their city, whatever works for them. I personally, just because of where I live, I run it to my county, just because I like to stay in Jersey because I'm so close to Manhattan. That 15, 20-mile radius will take me to like Woodmere, and I'm like, no thanks, to the 5 towns. So it got to a point where they were starting to get recognized. And the reason was because I did this for myself back in 2018, and people in town would come up to me and be like, hey, I've been seeing your videos. They're really nice.
Yeah.
And everyone would be like, hey, you're in real estate. Fast forward 3 years later, it's the best thing that ever happened to me because I keep getting phone calls. So a lot of agents started seeing the same success where you're running those videos consistently for 6 months. The market update, you change every month, but now you're able to create 5 custom audiences, and you can retarget every single one of them depending on the ad you run with just either more content or more ads or whatever it is.
Right.
And so I kind of wanted to understand how you guys do the retargeting. Is it just the Facebook and Instagram custom audience for like engaging on the ad, or is it also the messenger campaign? And if you're actually incorporating videos into the actual ads themselves, and we'll stop there, and I'll ask the next question after. I feel like there's a lot in there.
Yeah. So there's kind of 2 sides to that. One on the video side and the ad side. Of course, there's the listing ad side, but then we find great success with retargeting video ads. And just like you mentioned, several videos in a line, depending on how much they watch, we'll add the next one. And it really depends on, what the agent strategy is. Because, with us, it can be a lot more creative, with bigger bucks providers such as, Zillow, Boomtown, all those guys, they're kind of cookie cutter, right? So for our agents, for example, we have one client, I think it's out in Texas. She got really creative, and one important thing is you want to niche down, right? And you want to become the face of your community. And so our client, she's really into, riding around in Jeeps and rock crawling. And so she created this video where she's, riding around this rock crawler. She ends up flipping the thing over, and she hops out of it and she says, hey, rock crawling may not be my thing, but real estate is. So if you're looking for a real estate professional in your area, hit me up. And so that was just one example of a retargeting video that worked really well. And she ran that for a while. And, that one, along with others that she created, she was able to become more and more recognized in her community. But as far as the ManyChat side of things, another cool thing you can kind of do with retargeting is whoever you have contacted, whether connected with via Messenger, you can ultimately retarget those guys and broadcast out, market updates or whatever type of, content you want to pump out. You can pump it out to all those people in ManyChat, and, you can tag them differently. So if you only wanted to select a few people to receive something, you can make that happen.
So do you guys include all that, where if I sign up for your program, you guys will just say, hey, this is the flat fee, and if you send us X amount of videos, we'll run them? Or is that probably a custom cost as well added on top?
So it's a custom cost in a sense, but really, we kind of work on one-offs. So what I mean by that is when you go to our website, you're going to order essentially a credit, and we use that credit to build out the ad. And whenever they want to, make another ad, they just come back to the website, reorder, and they give us the, whether it be a listing info or a video ad, you name it. You just kind of give us the content, let us know what it is that you want to do, what your strategy is, and we'll make it happen for you.
Got
So
it. Got it. Got it.
we
So,
take all the technical work out.
got it. So like, yeah. So I usually use all those videos as reach campaigns versus messenger campaigns. Do you guys do those retargeted ads in messenger or?
Correct.
Okay, so
We have done.
everything always leads back to at the end of the video. It's, hey, if you're interested in my services, contact me. And then when they click on it, they get taken to the messenger to just start a normal conversation. Hey, I'm interested in your services, type thing.
Yeah, I mean, we do run some ads that don't go to Messenger just to create that brand awareness. Like
Yeah,
we
that
were
was what
mentioning
I was
earlier.
getting to.
But in general, most of those ads, whether it be a listing ad, that's definitely going to lead back to Messenger. So yeah, that's kind of how that works.
That's really, really cool. So have you had any superstar agents do over 40 plus deals a year? Like anyone that really just took you guys to the next level in terms of your agency, like when you guys got started?
Yeah, so we had a few in Florida, one in Indiana that was just really killer, getting after it. And we find that, those people that are killing it, there's a few solo agents in there, but most of the time we find that it's those brokerages that have a bunch of agents under them that implement that, because that's, they can have one person that's, filtering through those leads that come through, and then they can disperse those to all their agents.
Yeah, have an ISA, call all the leads,
Mhm.
scrub them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like that's kind of like the new agency model that we're seeing in the industry, where it's people are generating leads. They have an ISA team to call the leads. The leads are put into a CRM, texting, emailing, all that stuff. And then they're passing the lead off to the agent once they booked a call or anything along those lines. So like the agency's following up with them for like 6 to 9 months.
Right.
And they're charging like $3,500, $3,500. And I just say, I was like, why the hell would you pay that when you could buy our course and coaching program? Like, it's like, we'll teach you how to do it yourself. Like I always see that. But yeah, I think the brokerages is the smartest route, brokerages and teams.
Mhm.
Because I always say an LTV of an agent, like long term, like with advertising, is 3 months. Like I think
Yeah.
on the agency side, like they tend to leave because either the agent's not following up or they're brand new and they have no idea how to actually follow up. But you're always going to get that one or two that actually stand out. Um, so you guys over a 2-year period have done this agency. Is that it?
So my partner Chris had started this probably about 4 years ago now.
Got it.
So yeah, you're looking at around 2017 or so.
Got it. So over did he progress in like first year? How many clients did you guys have versus now?
So I'll have to look back at the numbers again, but if I had to put a ballpark number out there, first year I would say he was probably working with around 10 to 20 agents across the country, and now we're upward to several hundred at a time. And
That's insane.
you're always gonna have those few that aren't good at follow up, and they'll fall off the system. But we say our system's like a treadmill. It works if you work it.
No joke. That is literally what I say in the first video when someone joins my course. Right before they click buy, I say, if you're not going to call the leads, text the leads, email the leads after anytime over the next month, don't buy this course. That's
Yeah.
the video that's going to be on like the homepage. And it's really true. I tell everyone the name of the game in real estate is follow up. It's not lead generating. It's not branding. It is following up. And that's in any method you choose. If that's calling, if it's texting, if it's email, whatever it is, that is the name of the game. But anything to say, Ryan?
No, I'm kind of playing the role of the audience right now, just listening in.
Right? Isn't he giving us like this is sick? Like you're the first person I know that we got onto this episode that actually generates leads for clients through Messenger, has success. So major props. I know a lot of agencies that have tried it and end up switching to the newer model because I feel like it's easier to scale that model versus Messenger. It's like you have to it's tried and true. practice and really knowing what works and what doesn't. So I give you guys props on that. So I want to thank you for coming on this episode, and would hope to have you on again later on, maybe in a year, to see how everything's going. But if you guys are interested in lead generating for your business, and you're interested in learning more about Brandon services, you guys could go to bookmesolid.com/Brandon. That is bookmesolid.com/Brandon. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a pleasure for me as well. And, I appreciate everything you guys do and having me on.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.